Yesterday we spoke about the donkey of the donkey of the Mashiach. Why are we talking about donkeys at all? Because Yaakov, he said to Lavan, he said to send messengers to Esav, telling him that our master Yaakov was worked by Lavan, and he came out with oxes and donkeys and sheep. And it says in a midrash, which is called a book, which is called Pirkei de Rebbe Eliezer, that this donkey that he's talking about is the Mashiach. It refers to the Mashiach. Why is a donkey of all the animals referred to the Mashiach? Because the word donkey has the same letters as the word physicality. So donkey also refers to the world. And just as we use a donkey, they used to use donkeys to carry things and for human use, so also that's the purpose of the world. The world is supposed to be here for human use, or more exactly, for godly use. Okay. So it continues over there in this Pirkei de Rebbe Eliezer that this donkey that Mashiach is going to ride on, is going to be riding on a donkey, which means basically he's going to be riding on the physicality of the world. But physically, this donkey is the same donkey that Moses put his wife and sons on when he took them out of Egypt. Which, Mashiach is supposed to reveal himself right now. So that was 3,330 something, 4 years ago. And if that's not amazing enough, so that donkey that Moses rode on is the same donkey that Abraham rode on. But Abraham only put on the donkey the knife and the wood. When they were going to make the sacrificing Yitzchak, Abraham was sacrificing Yitzchak, so he brought along a donkey, and the donkey carried these things which were necessary for the. So it comes out that this donkey is about 4,000 years old. So it's not going to be very. On one hand, how much can a 4,000-year-old donkey carry? But on the other hand, if it lasts for 4,000 years, so we see that it obviously is somehow above the limits and the how do you say the category of time and place and etc. So it must be something that's in time but above time. This donkey, but still the point is, let the Mashiach come on foot, or let him come on a plane or something. What does he have to come on a donkey for? So we say, well, if we say that this donkey represents all the physicality of the world, so that becomes a little bit more sort of meaningful, because no matter where you look, you see the physicality of the world. And in fact, your eyes that are looking, they're also part of the physical world, and you are, and your body is. So Mashiach is going to ride on everything. What does this mean? So let's have a look. In the time from Abraham, in the time from Abraham, in the time of Abraham, Avinu, the Anfang, the beginning from the 2,000 years of Torah. This means this is the beginning from serving God through the Torah. Abraham did, even though the Torah was given like 400 years after Abraham, but he began this whole idea of serving God according to the laws of the Torah. He perceived what the laws of the Torah were before the Torah was given. So Abraham, he began what's called 2,000 years of. Abraham appeared on the scene about 2,000 years after the world was created. So this is the first 2,000 years was 2,000 years of confusion, tohu. And the second 2,000 years that's until the destruction of the temple. That was 2,000 years of Torah, beginning with Abraham. But because Abraham was actually, he began the idea of the Torah, but it was really before the Torah was actually given on Mount Sinai. Okay, so hat der Geshem und Chomer noch nicht gekannt Meile sein dem Adam allein. Here we have a very basic, difficult idea. let's see if we can make this thing bigger so it's easier for me to read. It says that when Mashiach comes, he'll build a third temple, and then we will do the commandments the way they're supposed to be done. Kamitzvat ratzonecha. So the question is asked in the writings of Chabad, what do you mean we didn't do the way God wanted in the temple? We knew what the sacrifices were. It says in the Torah what they are. You look in the Maimonides, right? He wrote all the details of the sacrifices, right? That's 900 years ago he wrote. What does it mean? Only and then we're going to, so it says the Torah will be the same and the laws will be the same, but people will be different. Man will be different in the time of the Mashiach. And that's going to be the main accomplishment of Mashiach, is that he's going to elevate man. Okay, how is he going to do this though? And this is what we're going to see here. When Abraham, he started this whole idea of Judaism, he paved the way for the Torah to be given. So, the physical world, though, Chomer, this Chomer means the materiality of the world. Same word as Hamor, just the Vav is in a different place. As the physical world could not elevate the person. Varum the Geshem, because the physicality aligned is Nachnet Given Kedusha. It wasn't not yet holiness. There was no holiness in the world. Vias Ver declared, like it's explained in a lot of different places, as is Nach Given, the Gilui from Bnei Romi, Lo Yardu. It says that before the giving of the Torah, that the spiritual was spiritual and the physical was physical. And if you wanted to be physical, then you couldn't be spiritual. And if you wanted to be a spiritual person, then you had to leave the physical. That's how it was before the Torah was given. Es hat gekent poel sein, mehr nicht wie in die Sachen, welche helpen zu. Abraham was only able to have an effect on things which help him directly. For instance, and there's the physical world. It was able to provide things that could help Abraham directly. It says the wood and the knife that was necessary for the sacrifice that God told him to do, to take Yitzchak, take his son. As durach dem avoda, by means of refining the physical world, using the physical world for God, for what God wants, zollen ze in jener Zeit, back then they could help holiness. The physical world could aid holy things, but they didn't really become holy. By Moses was a little bit different though. By Moshe is durch and chamor, by means of the donkey or the physical world, given gavoren an aliyah. There was an elevation. The physical, the chamor, had a more a powerful effect on the world, on man, is in the inyanim hatachtonim, from the mention line, from the matters of the person himself. Barum, because noch golos Mitzrayim, after the exile of Egypt and giving of the Torah, which Abraham did not experience these things, after the exile in Egypt and the giving of the Torah, there was a certain refinement in the physicality and the materiality of the world, be as until, as their Geshem, the physical world, Zolveren, Kedusha could be holy by means of doing commandments. Und wie es ist bewusst, like it's known, the difference zwischen Pharma and Torah, the difference before the giving of the Torah and after giving the Torah. Pharma and Torah, before the giving of the Torah, the Geshem, the physical world, was no vessel to godliness, for einzigen to unite with spiritual. Und the avoda, but the service, we wanted to serve God, is Bishtan, it was only nor in them as the Welt soll nicht menaged sein. Before the giving of the Torah, people like Abraham, their whole thing was the world did not interfere with them. It didn't help them, or the world would just not interfere with them. The world would help them only to the Hamshacha Sha'al Yadei Avoda, only in regard to their direct service of God. Like we said, the physical world represented by the donkey, it could elevate the wood and the knife and whatever the things were that Abraham directly used to serve God with. Aber as their Geshem, but the whole physical world, except for what Abraham was doing. But Pnimiuso in its essence should be holy. This was Abraham couldn't do this. This was only accomplished by the giving of the Torah. Okay, and the giving of the Torah also was only certain things that become holy. Well, let's see. Azoivi by the Maklos, for instance, by Yaakov, it says that he took these sticks and he put it in. Last week, remember, put the sticks in front of the sheep and the the sheep and the rams as agam as dorach their avoda by means of this service that Yaakov did with the sticks, and he put them in the water troughs, whatever, and it had an effect on what color the sheep came out, what shape of stripes they had on them. But nevertheless, it said that Yaakov, by means of his sticks, by means of his work, so he actually changed things. And according to Kabbalah, he even changed the upper worlds, but he didn't change the physical world. It was an or azoivi dorach their mitzvahs from tefillin. It says that when he used these sticks, that it drew down some sort of a spiritual power, something like tefillin. Aber she is nit given, but it was not in a panemius or beklita. It wasn't in an inner way and really, how do you say, absorbed in the physical world. Physical was one thing and godliness was another thing. Haraya, the proof, as noch der avoda, after the service, is giblimin kind or in the maklos, in the sticks. That was before the giving of the Torah. While oich frio, because before that is does nit given, but there are klita visachtus. Yaakov used these sticks to serve God with, to get more sheep and things like this, which he used in order to serve the Creator with his riches, with his this. But the fact of the matter is that the sticks were used for serving God, but as soon as he stopped using them, they stopped being godly. Because that was all before the giving of the Torah. Before the giving of the Torah, the spiritual and the physical were separated. But a mitzvah's nachmat Torah, but after the giving of the Torah, as meant to the mitzvah when a person does a commandment with the physical things, as veter geshen, the physical thing becomes holy. Thus says this much: the gashmis, all of the physical world, verta kli should be a vessel for God. But from deswegen, nevertheless, is oich done. Even then, the aliyah given need the in chilukim atachtonim, only in the lower aspects of man. Abraham, it says, what did he? Abraham, he was only put the sticks, so he could only elevate things that were external to man. By Moses, as Moses, he was able to. He elevated, even though that when Moses put his wife and his children on this donkey, this was before the Jews even got out of Egypt. So certainly it was before, it was like a year or whatever before the giving of the Torah. But nevertheless, after the giving of the Torah, because it was about to be given, as there could be an elevation of certain closer aspects of man to man. His wife, one person's wife is like his body, and his children. B is until in the kochos of Galuyim, the revealed powers of the soul that came down to be into the body. V'chatun and a goof which are in the body. But in Bias Mashiach, but still does not elevate mankind. It elevates the things that are peripheral to man, close to man. In Bias Mashiach, when the Mashiach comes, Vedzich oiftan atifra inyan, there'll be something even deeper. And Ani Rocheb al Chamor, it says that there'll be a poor person riding on the donkey. As Vedzich ant pleken. It will be revealed. Ant pleken means to revealed. The Maila from Guf, Iber the Neshama, how the body is really higher than the soul. Eishes Chayla Teres Baal, it says that the woman of valor is the crown of her husband. The woman of valor in this case is the body. It's the receiver of the soul. And that soul will be a crown over the husband. The husband is the body will be a crown over the soul. Eishes Chayla, that's the body. That's the physical that receives. And it'll be a crown on Baala, on her husband, which the husband is the soul. Afilu in Chaya Yechida, the body will be even higher than the level of Chaya and even Yechida of the soul. These upper two levels. Vetzech ois oiftan, and Aliyah will be elevated by means of the physical world. And that's what it means that the Mashiach will also ride on this donkey, but he personally will ride on his donkey. And the Mashiach, in other words, all mankind will receive an elevation by means of the donkey. We said donkey means the physical world. By means of working with the physical world, after the giving of the Torah, there can be an elevation of things which are close to man. But Mashiach will reveal the true inner meaning and the secrets of the Torah that'll elevate all humanity. That's what it means. The Mashiach himself will ride on the donkey. And Bias Mashiach, when the Mashiach comes, reveals himself, Vet Nizgal, they'll be revealed the Emes Shorsh from Yesh Nivra, the true source of the physical world. Was the emisis from the Anivra, which the true essence of the creation is their Yesha Emiti, is the true essence of the Creator. Therefore, is the Birur Achomer, by means of refining the physical world, Birur Yesha Nivra, as Vetzich Oiftan, an Aliyah that will be elevated in the essence of the soul. That's what it means that the Mashiach himself will ride on this donkey. Thus, if so, this is now we can understand what it means that if the Jewish people merit, then the Mashiach will come riding on clouds. But if they don't merit, then he's going to be riding on a donkey. Now, we just said, hey, riding on a donkey, that's a good thing. Riding on a donkey means the whole physical world, donkey is chamor, the chumras of the world will be elevated. That's supposed to be higher. What do you mean? Only if the Jewish people don't merit. It says, if the Jewish people merit, the Mashiach will ride on the clouds of heaven. If they are not meritorious, then it'll be a poor person. The Mashiach will be poor riding on a donkey. Says the Rebbe now turns this whole thing around. Listen to this. Listen to what the Rebbe is going to do. 1 second. Zachu, the word for zachu means meritorious, but the word zachu also means to refine. Durach dem avoda in devorim zachim, by means of zachu means refined, by means of working with things that are spiritual and holy and fine. Clearer and ruchnius dikazachen. A person works mainly in physical things. As vetzain and anei shamaya, then the Mashiach will be in a way of light coming from above to below. But God will make big miracles, everything. If the Jews only work with zachu, with pure things, only Torah, commandments, and that's what brings the Mashiach will come from above. It'll be big miracles, Mashiach will come. But lo zachu, if Jews work in the time of the exile with things that are lo zachu, which are not refined, ebda avoda is in yanim, things which are not refined, thus makes in yanim gashmi, physical things and material, mundane things. Men vet zemavor, and we refine even these lowest things in the world. Demo then veltzain der gile, the revelation will be on ani rochev al chamor. It'll be a poor person riding on a donkey. What does it mean? Their gile, the revelation, will be a light that goes back up to Hashem, returning light from below to above. As durach and chamor, that by means of the chamor, the physicality of the world, right? Chamor means donkey, but it also means by means of the physicality of the world, vet mensukum, we can come to and order a place was the neshama, which the soul on itself cannot possibly go there. That's what it means. He's going to be poor. Poor. We'll realize that we're totally dependent on God. We'll see. Und das is what Yaakov, that's what Yaakov said, to send. He told his messengers to send it to Esav. I have oxes and donkeys. Mitzad zayin avoda, from his work. Because Yaakov worked hard 20 years by Lavan, because of that, because specifically with Lavan, the lowest person in the world, and he purified him, the physical things, so therefore he was ready for the highest of the revelations of godliness. From the Oni, that he's a true receiver, already receives, and he'll be writing on the physicality of the world. So that's what it means, Mashiach, because Mashiach will be a result of the Jewish people working in the physical world and purifying the physical world and dealing with actual mundane problems and difficulties and challenges and looking for the opportunity to serve God in every physical thing that there is in the world and meeting every challenge, is by means of that will reach the highest levels of godliness possibly. That it'll be riding on the chamor, the physical world, right? And it'll, what do you mean? Oni, that the Jewish people will be truly receptacles to receive the highest blessings. Like a poor person receives, that's what he wants. He has nothing of his own. This, we're going to see how it's relevant to the release of the first Rebbe of Chabad, Yutet Kislev, and that we're going to see, God willing, tomorrow. Have a good day with Moshiach now, and see you tomorrow at 8:15 in the morning. 8:15 in the morning.